This week on TGC News, Noveske Blasts the Ghetto, a tiny trick for your Glock, and the return of Top Guns. Silencer Co. is offering the first ever suppressed muzzleloader since the inception of the NFA. The Maxim 50 is a 50 caliber muzzleloader with a permanently attached sound moderator, able to be purchased without going to a gun store and filling out a 4473. You can even get this thing shipped straight to your door in freedom-loving states. To find out more, check out the link in the video description or head over to silencerco.com. Welcome back to another episode of TGC News, the only gun news show that covers things you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. Let's get right to it. First up this week, Noveske, the gun industry's first hipster company and builders of some of the nicest semi-autos on the planet, has just announced a gun known as the Ghetto Blaster. The announcement video is nothing short of awesome because it's literally themed like an early 90s rap video. Here's a clip.
Something we're making for the Americans. It's called a Ghetto Blaster.
Supersonic. Supersonic. Everybody knows that JJ fast, devastating. Especially bigger people, they pay close attention. But when it comes to our lady, you might even try it. Supersonic.
Now, the rifles themselves are pretty slick. They come in 3 different configurations, including the full 16-inch version, an 8-inch version, as well as the SD version, which appears to have a Q honey badger suppressor on the end of it. Unfortunately, the SD won't be available until early 2018. Breaking down the specs on these, the 8-inch version can be had in either 5.56 or 300 blackout, both with a 1-in-7 twist. The 16-inch version only comes in 5.56 with the same twist. They both come with the NHR handguard in either M-LOK or Keymod, a Q cherry bomb muzzle device, BCG and PDW stock, Geisley SDE trigger and charging handle, and of course the Gen 4 billet receiver set from Noveske themselves. The whole thing is very similar to the Honey Badger rifle from Q, but has a slightly more refined look to it. Both Q and Noveske have that no-given feel while driving home the fact that they know what's up by releasing some of the coolest gun products on the market currently. Now, here's the part that no one likes to hear. The price. MSRP on the 16-inch version is $2,300, while the 8-inch version is listed at $2,150. Certainly not cheap, but also not the $2,800 price that I expected on this type of product. PDWs and the like are pure Instagram fuel these days, and that might be the answer for these companies. We always talking about making products the customers actually want, and this seems to be checking a lot of those boxes. What do you guys think? Is this the rifle that the AR-15 industry needs? And in jamming as much crap into one episode as we possibly can, news
2, 1, hands down.
There is a new cheap training tool for your Glock handgun called the E-Trainer. Essentially, it's a piece of metal that sits around the back of your gun and has a section that rides inside the slide and prevents the trigger from breaking. The idea is that you won't get into bad habits of cycling the gun immediately after each time you dry fire and things of that nature that can be picked up while practicing dry firing with a factory gun. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about this because I see it as kind of a weird solution. I like the idea of breaking the trigger. You have options out there like the SIRT pistol that actually have a trigger that breaks, but that's almost 15 times more expensive than this thing. Alternatively, you have fake barrels and other such parts that make your factory gun a trainer that are cheaper, but it seems like everything has some sort of shortcoming. And the question at hand is, do you want to train with your actual firearm, or do you want to have a trigger that breaks and things like that? The retail on the E-Trainer is $30. Beyond that, Wilson Combat has released another AR-10 platform rifle. We talked a little while back about their hunting rifles. This new one is called the Super Sniper, and it is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. The Super Sniper line has been around a bit in other cartridges, but since we've never covered it here on the show, I'll give you the basics on this new rifle. At its heart, it features the Recon Tactical Match Grade barrel, which is an attempt to shove as many keywords into a product name as possible. It's also fluted, has a 1-in-8 twist, and comes in either a 22 or 24-inch version. On the muzzle is the Wilson Q-Comp brake. In the trigger spot is their 4-pound single-stage TTU. Out back is the Rogers Wilson Super Stock. And it also features a 14-inch trim rail and the standard billet receivers you would expect on this type of rifle. This could certainly be a solid setup because it weighs in at just over 10 pounds on the scale. Not bad for a precision gun. The base price on this is $31.45, but if you want to add your own touch and kind of doll it up with different finishes and things of that nature, expect to push past $3,500 pretty quick. We're mixing it up this week with a segment I haven't done since the early days of TGC. It's called Top Guns. I pick the top 3 guns in a certain category that was suggested by viewers, and this week our category is semi-auto shotguns. Here we go. Coming in at number 3 is the Winchester SX4. It's an updated version of the SX3, which I have shot numerous times, and that thing always runs like a top. On top of that, they are generally attainable at under $1,000. That's great. Solid value for money there. At a close second on our list is the Origin 12. This thing has been under constant development since its inception, and it just keeps getting better. I've never shot a 12 gauge with less felt recoil and more speed. The price tag of $2,800 for the full fat version keeps it out of the top spot though. And at the very top of our list, the Beretta A400 Extreme. I did a review on this gun a few years back on my old channel, and it is still far and away the most well-rounded semi-auto I've ever shot. Totally usable for anything from clay shooting to serious waterfowling. It'll take 3.5-inch shells. It has a low felt recoil impulse due to the kickoff system, and if you really want to, you can throw an extended tube on there and hold over 10 rounds of 12 gauge. It's sort of in the middle as far as pricing goes at about $1,600 to $1,700 depending on the finish, but it really genuinely is fantastic. I know there are some of you out there like gnashing your teeth because you disagree with what I had to say, or you're mad that I didn't say Benelli was one of the top 3, so let's hear it. Name your top 3 semi-auto shotguns down in the comment section below. Tack Pack offers some of the highest quality firearms, EDC, and survival gear in a monthly package shipped right to your door. One month could be heavily focused on gun parts, the next on some sweet survival gear. They're always mixing it up and sending out stuff you will actually use. You now have 3 options for free items from them. Using TGC TQ will get you a free tourniquet, TGC Knife will get you a folding knife, and TGC Tool will get you a sweet pocket-sized multi-tool. To get your free item, punch in those codes over at tackpack.com. Our friendly fire question this week comes from the TGC Nation group on Facebook. Xander Devro asked, what is the smallest caliber you are comfortable carrying in your defensive handgun? That's a fairly simple answer, .380. The reason for that is because of the Lehigh Defense Extreme Penetrator bullets, whether it's loaded by Lehigh or Underwood or somebody else. I was actually on hand filming high-speed video when Mac did his test on that ammo, and I would trust my life to it. That was easy, so let's do another one. Anthony Sherald asks, will 357 SIG ever be as popular as 40, and why didn't it catch on like the big 3, 9, 40, and 45? Honestly, I'm not 100% sure on that. I suspect it's due to several factors. First up is cost. Second is availability of ammo from the onset of the cartridge, and last but not least is complication of machining. A bottleneck cartridge is marginally more complex to pull off, and I think that altogether that may have had the effect that it's had. Plus, unlike the 300 Blackout, it wasn't and isn't pushed by its creator. SIG could have a major effect on its popularity, but they've pretty much given up on it. It also requires support from companies outside of the creators. For instance, the rapid growth of 300 Blackout was because you could get it in just about any rifle out there, and that's the same still. There are simply not a lot of companies chambering handguns in 357 SIG. My question to you guys this week, what would you like to see tested with high-speed video? Be specific, whether it's ammo, some kind of concept with the gun, some kind of product. Be specific, let me know in the comments. Also, if you want your question answered right here on the show, you can send that to me over on the Gun Collective's Instagram, which is linked in the description. And that is it for this week's show, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button and share it with your friends. That's a massive help. If you didn't, let me know why down in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please get subscribed. You won't want to miss a single episode. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. The shirts worn in today's video on the Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.